Hey, Saihara-Chan? I said, resting my head on his shoulder. Yeah, Kokichi? He responded, walking slower. I was wondering if, I started to ask and felt my face flush. How am I supposed to ask him? Hey, can I stay in your room? Or would you want to stay in mine? Maybe that's too weird. I mean, we got together yesterday. I'm not asking to sleep with him. I just want to sleep in the comforting arms of my beloved Saihara-Chan. What is it, Kokichi? He asked again, looking down at me with a concerned look on his face. Well, I'm too nervous to ask him. Last time he already knew. Sometimes I wish he could just read my mind so I didn't have to ask these awkward questions. Kokichi? He asked before his expression changed. He looked like he found something out. Can he read minds? You don't have to sleep alone. That's what you wanted to ask, right? He said, taking my hand that was in his to rest it on my cheek after he stopped walking so he could face me. We were standing in the courtyard outside of the dorm room. I gave him a shy nod before he smiled and pulled me into a hug. I would love to, Kokichi. You don't have to feel awkward about that. I understand, okay? I want you to feel okay, he said, placing a kiss on my forehead. Alright, Saihara-Chan, I said, looking away, feeling guilty that he would have to stay with me all night before the feeling went away when he pulled me into a kiss. Kokichi, do you want to stay in your bedroom or mine? He asked after he slowly broke the kiss with a faint blush on his cheeks. Wherever Saihara-Chan would like to stay, I said, hugging his arms while we walked into the dorm rooms. Well, we stayed in your room last time, so if it's okay with you, could we stay in yours? He said, looking away for a moment before I pulled his chin towards me so I could see his face. You know, I love to see your face. And, of course, if that's where my beloved wants to stay, then I would love to. I said, grabbing his hand and pulling him up the stairs that led to my dorm room. Thank you, Kokichi, he said in a whisper that I almost didn't hear. Alright, I said, opening the door and walking inside before Saihara followed behind me, closing the door after he entered. I didn't say anything. He just walked over to my bed and started to make it because it was not made before he came here. I watched him while he pulled the covers down a little bit before he gestured for me to get in them. I walked over slowly with a smile on my face. I slid into the covers and he pulled the covers over me. He walked away and grabbed something before returning and getting in on the other side of the bed, scooting close to me after he got in the covers. I turned to face him with a smile. He wrapped his arms around me. Saihara-Chan, thank you, I said, nuzzling into his chest. He pulled away for a moment to look into my eyes. Kokichi? He said, turning around for a moment and grabbing something. Curious, I tried to look at what he had, only to be stopped by an arm around my shoulder. I wanted to give you something, a gift that you can remember me by, he said, pulling the thing from behind his back to hold it in front of me. It was a little Saihara-Chan doll. It had cute button eyes and was wearing his uniform. It was beautiful. Saihara-Chan? I gasped, feeling tears coming to my eyes. He didn't have to get me something. I have nothing to give him. Kokichi, I love you so much, and I wanted to give you something for you to remember me by when I can't be around you. And I got some help from Samugi, he said, smiling and pulling me into his chest. But Saihara-Chan, I have nothing to give you, I said, looking at him in the eyes only to be securely held to his chest. You give me everything, Kokichi, he said in a whisper before I could tell he fell asleep. I found it so cute how he is so tired all the time. I smiled and cuddled closer to his warmth before letting sleep consume me. I woke up and found Kokichi was still asleep in my arms, which is a first. He's always up way before me. Even when we weren't together, he was always the first one into the dining hall. I smiled. I haven't seen him like this before. He's always keeping this mask on in front of the others, and it's kind of nice to see him relaxed and calm. This makes me feel at ease. I ran my finger over his eyelids, then to his cheeks, and finally I slowly brushed my finger over his lips. I felt a blush come to my face when I touched his lips, feeling flustered, remembering all the times those lips have with mine. I went to cover my blush with my hand before I realized that he was sleeping, and that even if he was awake, he would still think my blush was cute. Cute. That's the only thing I can think of Kokichi right now. He's the living definition of cute and adorable. And the way his hair is a mess, the way his face looks so calm, the way he mumbles in his sleep, the way he always pulls me closer to him unconsciously, I smiled. How can you be so perfect, Kokichi? And how did I get to be so lucky to be with you like this? I noticed that the morning announcement was going to go off, but I didn't care. I just put my arms back around him and placed a kiss on his forehead before closing my eyes again. Good night, Kokichi.